This is Our Stories, Life with an STD, episode 4 with Renassa, aka the Curvy Hippie.
Herpes could never. Herpes could never break me, could never again make me feel less of. Herpes can't take my sexy away from me. Herpes does not take my worth away. Herpes does not devalue me. Herpes can never.
Hi, my name is Shayna Singleton, aka the Herpes Goddess, and yes, having me is a big flex. I am the founder of Herpes Can Never Grow, and the largest herpes awareness platform of over 280K, because I inspire people to love themselves more. The Herpes Can Never mission is to be at war with the herpes stigma until the herpes community feels comfortable being open about their status and proud of their sexuality. I am so happy about today's episode. We have the beautiful Renassa with us. Please introduce yourself to the people, Queen.
Hi, hello. I am Renassa. I am the Curvy Hippie. I am a Reiki practitioner here in Atlanta, Georgia. I specialize in the arts of hippiness, which is freeing yourself into your happiness, loving yourself no matter what. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
That's beautiful.
And I cannot wait to connect with you guys and you, Shayna.
So I just want to give y'all a little bit brief backstory with me and Queen Renassa here. The last time we spoke, she wasn't ready for this type of conversation. Yeah. So it's just so beautiful to see her growth, to see her clear out her throat chakra, because that's what herpes does. It kind of blocks our throat chakra, and just to see her flourish and grow. And I'm happy to be a part of that with her on this journey of us just being out here and stigma free. So Queen, when did you, what year did you find out? How old were you when you found out you had herpes? What type of herpes do you have? And how did you feel at the moment?
So I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't have the dates and all the specifics, but even when I do tell my story, I kind of have a really good timeline of everything. So I want to say about 5 or 6 years ago, I found out that I had herpes. I went to a doctor's appointment for a checkup, and I was just, me back in the day, I would probably call myself a hypochondriac. But I mean, now it's probably just self-love, because I wanted to go to the doctor to know every little thing about my body. But I was like, okay, I want all the blood work. And so I requested all the STDs to be ran. And then he came back and let me know that I had herpes. And I'm like, oh, okay. I think I didn't really take it in that moment. It was just okay. I don't know. But then, just finding out, I think the biggest thing for me was, I don't know. I feel I feel it was what my mom would say. I think that's so crazy. And then, of course, the world and guys accepting it. But I think it was more of I didn't because I knew in that moment, it was okay, well, I'm going to have to speak up about this. But then it was just oh, what would my mom think? Oh, now she's going to think I'm a fucking hoe for real. Oh, please excuse I have a sailor's mouth. But and not that was the case, because, but for me, it was I just didn't want, I don't know, my mom, she was, well, growing up with her, she loved to date men or whatever. She would have different boyfriends, and me, I would try to stray away from that. But I felt my mom in that moment was gonna judge me for it for whatever reason. So, that was with that. So I honestly found out that I had the herpes. I did not say anything. My backstory is a lot worse, I feel than probably some of the folks I know. I know there are people that are not disclosing, but for me, my story, the reason that what took me so long to open up and get this throat chakra going was that there was the guilt behind me not disclosing. And for me, I am such a spiritual person. I am such I know the good person that I am, that it ate my conscience the whole time. To the point where I was attracted to low vibrational relationships, low vibrational experiences. I'm talking about domestic violence, men just choking me out for no reason. Got guys I'm about really low vibrational, I'm talking about experiences. But sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah. So, yeah, it attracted a lot of low vibrational experiences and men. And, yeah, like for me, I realized that I had, it was deeper than the herpes. Like the fact that I wasn't even like disclosing, it's like there was like a resentment towards like men. It was like deeper than that. Like it was like I mean like when I say like I feel like my thought process back then was so unhealthy in the way that like, oh, men, they're nothing, because that's what I was taught. Like, men that don't matter. They're and it's like, oh, what's the point? They're not going to stay around anyway. They're not good for anything anyway. And these were the beliefs that I was living by. And I don't even know where like I picked them up. Maybe growing up from childhood, just hearing that from women in my life. But yeah, so what ended up happening? Let's fast forward a little bit. Ended up coming out of a really bad domestic violence relationship, really emotionally abusive. I got a beautiful baby boy from that though. And yeah, I did my pregnancy alone. I went through a lot after the pregnancy. I couldn't walk for a really long time. I was in a lot of pain. I manifested a really bad experience, like just really bad experiences. Like, and I really got to a breaking point for myself. I was dealing with a guy, one of them spiritual fuck boys, the ones that be attached but not attached, and then and they lead you on, but y'all don't really talk about the boundaries and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, well, damn, I don't even say that. Oh my God. I love you if you're watching this, because we're still friends. But he knows I'm gonna talk shit about him. He knows, because he knows. Yeah, I was a little bitter. But so what ended up happening was, I'm a very, like I said, spiritual person, and I'm very in tune with energies. And what I was noticing was that even like I was trying to still carry out the sexual lifestyle I was doing without disclosing to men. And it started to affect me energetically, like where before I would even like right before sex, I would actually want to throw up. Like mm-hmm. I would literally like, I wouldn't throw up. But I mean, I was getting so nauseous. Like my spirit was just telling me like, no, like get off it. Like, and it was like, I couldn't even ignore it anymore because it was just like so intense. So for me, that was a sign. So I literally said, okay, I'm going to, put that aside. I ended up meeting another guy. But what was crazy with this guy, it was like a mirror was being held up to me. And it was like, not that the guy was in the highest vibration, because I don't think he really was, but because I'm sure he was just trying to like smash. But like, it was crazy because like I could see myself. And it was like, even if you were going to attract the love, even if you were going to finally get that love that you're searching for so bad, are you even ready? Are you even ready to receive it? Are you even ready to be the person to give it and receive it? Like, and in that moment, it was like, wow, like I'm really not who have I become between the pain and the pain that I've caused? Like, it was like, I just couldn't even recognize myself in that moment. So in that moment, this was actually last year. Mm-hmm. Last year, I want to say May. Yeah, that night I didn't sleep with the guy. We damn near dry hunched. Dear God, it was tempting, but I told myself, I was like, no, like I really got to go get myself straight with God, and that has been the mission ever since. I've been on 13 months now celibate. So from that point, from that encounter with the guy and the mirror was held up, I said, you know what, I'm going to cut off having sex, until I'm ready to not only heal myself, because clearly me just having sex, and like, it was like I was having sex, but to fill a void. It was like I was still numb. I was still in a very low place. I wasn't even the vibration for divine love. You know what I mean? So yeah, I spent, each and every day, girl, I'm at the river, meditating, releasing. But the hardest thing, the biggest thing with the whole journey is that, like, it was forgiving myself. Because, to forgive other people, that was hard too. But for me to seek forgiveness from them, it was hard to do that too. But I felt like the biggest challenge was with myself. Like, you know what I mean? And pouring back into myself. So I I spent weeks going to the river, meditating, just getting right with myself, cutting off sex, cutting off men, just focusing on my internal health, my spiritual health, releasing. Even throughout the 5-6 years, I've always been into healing, but I genuinely avoided a lot of the healing when it came in regards to the herpes. So I was like, ready to heal anything. Yeah. But speaking up for the herpes, I was ready to talk about anything. The confidence came when it came to everything in my life except for with that.
I love that you brought that up. I love that you brought that up because Amber and I, we wrote a journal, and we're in the middle of our book club. It's a herpes trigger journal, and it's titled "You Don't Love Yourself." Trigger warning, it's not your herpes. And you talked about avoidance, and we covered avoidance last night. Like, what areas in your life are you that you know you need to heal in that you avoiding? And I can relate to your story so much because that was my only block from stopping me to talk about herpes, was the moments when I didn't disclose. I was misled by my physician and was told, just don't have sex during an outbreak. And in my head, that meant, okay, just don't have sex during an outbreak. That don't mean I got to say anything. And if I'm not having an outbreak and I'm on my antiviral medications, then I'm good. But no, that it's wrong.
Yeah, we ain't suppressing shit no more, by the way. Yeah.
Yes. And the guilt will sit on you. It's it's not even just the guilt, it's the fear of being found out. It's the fear of what
like, oh my God, people are gonna know I'm such an ugly person. Like, oh my God, they're gonna know, yeah. And that wasn't the case. And I knew that, but it was just like, I literally tried to be like damn near picture perfect, make sure every other part of my life was like perfect outside of that. And Spirit had to literally get me straight. That mirror was held up to me, and for the first time in a really long time, I was able to see. I didn't like what I saw, because in that moment 5-6 years ago, when I had a choice, my intuition came through to me in that moment, and it was, okay, you are going to either one, speak up about it, or two, you're not, and you're gonna go through this karmic cycle. Like, and I knew what I was creating. Like, I knew that, like, me not speaking up, I was gonna have to probably do it publicly one day because of the avoidance. Yeah. But it's been a journey. I since then I've had my Reiki for about 3 years, and I didn't even believe in myself enough to go and start taking clients and believing in myself. And so during that time, me just shifting out of the energy of trying to fill that void that way, and me just working on my vibration, I was able to attract me getting into doing what I love. Yeah. And I started off with just doing it for free and just trying to get out in the community and get my own healing. And then it turned into, oh my gosh, wow, this intuition is right. This, wow, I'm actually gifted. Wow, me just doing that is unlocking parts of myself that I didn't even know that existed, that I dreamed about, you know what I mean? And then it was I just started to believe. And then that was probably, the 6 months going towards the end of the year. And I think when we spoke, it was probably around January time. And at that point, Spirit was pushing me to just say it, honey. Just say it. Just say it. And first, just say it. Butter and balls and just say it, honey. And so I literally was like, okay, well, let me just go public and do a little video. And I feel like I did it now that I'm looking back, I'm like, you little bitch. You didn't even say, I got herpes. You was like, I had herpes. That was painting, I think, one night. but I was like, you know what? For me, though, I celebrate myself throughout the whole way. Yeah. But that took a lot. That was me just peeking and opening the throat chakra. Since then, though, and me just telling that story and just, me just opening up and saying I had the herpes, it pushed me into, a couple months later, my birthday, I did my own healing circle. And what I did, and this was just something that Spirit, I don't know, I just felt like I needed to do. It was connect back to the divine, connect back to myself, connect back to speaking my authentic truth. And so I did for my birthday a hair cutting ceremony where for the healing circle, the women that were there, we did womb healing. We did all these great exercises. And then while telling my story, you know, I like allowed this hairstylist to shave my head for me. And yeah, just go through that moment of shame, or, you know, and just feel in that moment and just tell my story, but with, you know, with power. Yeah. And, you know, just seeing how the women even responded to that, like some were like, oh yeah, I do too. And, you know, and just having that conversation, not only was that healing for me, that was healing for them. And since then, it's just been like a catalyst. It's just been, you know, like every circle I go to, every, you know, circle that I put together, like I just speak my truth. And it's just beautiful to see, you know, the women who are inspired by that. Because now I'm in a place where it's just like, hey, I got herpes.
Yeah. What type of herpes do you have? Type 1, type 2, both?
Both of them. So if you want to kiss or you want to hunch, you go get it both.
Well, that's not necessarily true.
I know, right? I'm kidding.
Yes, it's not necessarily
true. I'm totally kidding, you guys. I'm totally kidding.
Our healer, we have a Herpes Can Never healer. She's our breath worker and our oracle reader. Her name is Euphoria, and she actually has HSV1 and HSV2 as well. I myself, I have HSV2, probably have HSV1 because someone that I'm dating has HSV1, so I'm bound to get it. And plus, for those of you out there watching that don't know, HSV1 is spread 7 times quicker than HSV2, which means 7 times the amount of people with HSV2 has HSV1.
Yeah.
It means by the time you're 50, you're bound to have herpes, and you literally have to have no human contact not to get some sort of herpes in your life.
It's literally a cold sore. Like Bliss-Tech should be Herpes-Tech. Like it's literally like Bliss-Tech is for like cold sores. It's like,
well, I mean, herpes is cold sores. Cold sores equal lip herpes. Herpes can be in the inside of your mouth and the inside of your nose and your eyes and your ears. It can be inside of your throat. You can mistaken it for strep throat. It can be inside of your vagina, and you might be suffering from back-to-back BV because you get internal outbreaks outside, on your butt, on your legs, on your fingers. It's called herpetic whitlow. Sometimes when we have sex, we're all over the place. I've learned this from Richmond Cuso. And if I have HSV1 and we're all over the place and I have an opening on my shoulder, I can have herpes on my shoulder. That's just how herpes works. It's from skin to skin contact. If y'all want to learn more, go ahead and check out my platform. I am Shayna Singleton on Instagram, and you can also go to www.herpescannever.com. Thank you so much, beautiful, for sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me.
If you guys want to reach Renassa, aka the Curvy Hippie, I am going to put her handle down below in the description box. Please like, share, and subscribe. Put your alert on if you want to catch the next STD, our stories, life with an STD. And I love you. Peace, love, and light.
And herpes could never, honey.
Ever, period.